If you run a company or manage a team, hiring qualified people quickly can make or break your business. Imagine a position of need going unfilled for weeks or even months because you just can't seem to find the right candidate. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster. This makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts. You only pay for results on your job post. Just in the last minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Now that is fast. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. Listeners will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/BWN. Go to Indeed.com/BWN right now to support this podcast. Indeed.com/BWN. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of Sunday, February 16th, 2025. Folks, I don't know about you. This weekend has felt very, I'll say, up and down in terms of like weather and everything else. Pitt Girl, are you going to get a big snowstorm coming through?
Unclear at this time.
Okay.
Genuinely, like, I've heard a couple people say that there's supposed to be snow on Thursday. I don't know, man. Maybe. Right now, it's just real windy.
Brigit, how much snow did you pull out of your driveway today?
At least 6 inches. I cleared about 5 off of my car when the Amazon delivery driver called and said, "Hey, can you just come get your package because we can't make it up to your house?" Keep in mind, I do, like, not to fully dox myself, I live on a main road. It gets plowed. They just couldn't get here. So I had to clear off my car. My Subaru barely made it down the alley, and because that doesn't get plowed because it's dirt. And it made me glad I drive a Subaru. We're supposed to get 15 inches by tomorrow.
Let's tell the audience where you live.
Well, I live in Missoula. I'm pretty easy to find.
I'm just saying, like Missoula, Montana.
Oh yeah, Missoula, Montana.
Yes. In
Big Sky Brigit is our Big Sky representative.
That's right.
Yes. I'm in the big sky with the big snow.
Yes.
And Commish, how warm was it in San Antonio today?
I think it only got to 60, but the only thing is that I think we did the high 75 and then low 30 something. Mm-hmm. Like the 40-degree swing in seemingly like the middle of the day.
Oh, that's
like
weird.
when the sun was out, it was like, okay, it's nice. It's 75. It's noon. And then, I get my kiddo at school at about 2:30, 3 p.m. and it's like 58. I'm like, okay. I get home a little bit later. Wife gets home at like 5:30. It's like 40 something with like 20-mile-an-hour winds, and you're like, okay. And it's still sunny out. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, folks, as always, I am Jordan. With me tonight, I have Pitt Girl, Commish, and special guest Big Sky Brigit. Big Sky Brigit, besides the snow, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad it's snowing because now it's warm again. Because it was negative 16 all last week, and it was sunny. So So today was my snow day. I was nice. I was cozy. I stayed under the kotatsu, and I built some Lego, and that was my day.
Pitt Girl, how are you?
I am good. I am the proud new owner of a vintage cotton Woolrich flannel that obnoxiously Pit Boyfriend found for me. However, I do have also like a mild kitchen disaster to share with the group.
Oh, please do.
Okay. Oh.
Obnoxiously Pit Boyfriend got it in his head that he wanted to make mapo tofu,
Okay.
which there are places around here that make it. I don't know why he like got it in his head that this was a thing that we had to try and make at home, but it is. And he attempted to make it, and listener, he put like 2 tablespoons of Szechuan peppercorn in there.
A little spicy.
That well, no, have you ever had Szechuan peppercorn?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you exactly how it hits me.
So it's the thing about it is not exactly that it's spicy, it's that it tastes like pepper, but also your tongue kind of goes numb.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
was so much pepper. It only tasted like
was-
pepper and numb.
It was like a pepper tornado up in here.
Yes. Yes.
There was too much pepper up in here.
Yes.
Okay.
So all of that to say, gentle listener, if you try to make mapo tofu at home, you definitely need a mortar and pestle. You do not accidentally want whole Szechuan peppercorns like the ones that I got. Not a good time.
What?
Yes. It was not, they weren't all whole. He did attempt to grind them, but not particularly effectively.
How did-
No. I'm sitting here like you're going through like, okay, mapo tofu, got it. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Here we. Oh, okay. Okay, that feels like a little much. And then finding out that they weren't all like ground up.
Mm-mm.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir.
Yep. It was a time. I had a time, but I can feel my tongue now, so it's fine.
Hey, that's good. I'm glad you're here with us.
Me too. In the good news, I think I have finally won the ongoing debate we have about me being like, bro, this is too much pepper in basically anything that he makes.
Yeah.
Now I have proof.
This feels like a good card to play in the future. You should write this down somewhere.
Oh yeah, never forget. Well, now you have it like for posterity.
It's
on the
recorded.
podcast, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you have other people to say, bro.
You have
seriously,
a
bro.
you have a pepper pass.
Commish, how are you, sir?
Good. Did the kiddos like classmate 8-year-old birthday party at a trampoline park?
Love it.
We had the fancy private room where we had like a balcony overlooking the folks that could only afford a table below us.
Ooh, you got
Yeah.
the champagne room at
We
the
did.
trampoline park.
We did that.
VIPs.
The VIP trampoline
Could
park.
you call for the little other kids to like fight each other for your pleasure?
I mean, they kind of were in that ball pit that I could overlook with like
Thumbs down.
close enough.
I want trampoline park bottle service with sparkling
I was gonna
apple
say, I
cider.
want a bouncer. I want a velvet rope. I want the whole thing.
So we did my kiddo's 7-year-old birthday party at the same spot in like the balcony area, and so basically his friend liked it so much the parents decided to do the same like birthday party. So like we're like the trendsetters here, which I like this. The fun thing about this is that we had a TV in the room, the private room. We had like a small TV in the room, and the person, you know, the I guess like the party host that we have at the trampoline park that would bring the pizza and you know, plates and whatnot was like, do you want the TV on? And we're like, yeah, sure, let's turn the TV on. And they're like, well, what do you want the game on? Normally with people here, there's no football, so what do you want on? And we you know, they were scrolling through the guide and we settled on Miami at Pitt basketball.
Okay, that's a choice.
That's not appropriate for children.
Right?
Hey,
I hope
hey,
the
hey,
children
hey.
left the room before that.
Pitt did win.
That's right.
It
So
could, it could be worse.
Pitt basketball undefeated while I'm watching them at an 8-year-old's birthday party in a trampoline park.
I'm going to need you to go to a lot more 8-year-olds' birthday
I
parties.
do have a
Commish.
birthday party next week. So
Okay.
I
But
gotta
do you get
find
the VIP?
I don't know where this one is. This one's in, I think this one's in something like, it's like an inflatable slide, but it's indoors, like an inflatable slide park indoors.
like
So
a
it's not a
bouncy house
trampoline
kind of
park.
thing,
Yeah, it's like
or
bouncy houses,
like a
like a
play
bunch of
place,
different.
or like a just like a grip
like
of bouncy houses.
It's like there's like five. There's like 3 rooms. You go to the first room for about an hour, and it's like huge, like different types of bouncy house slides indoors, of course. Then the next room is like here's some other slides and whatnot. And then the third room is like, you know, this is where you get the cake and the presents or everything like that. So
These
it's like,
things are everywhere around here because you
Yeah.
can put them in a warehouse.
yes,
And so warehouses exist, like every warehouse that needs like a tenant. They have these things everywhere around here.
this is kind of like the Spirit Halloween kids' birthday party thing.
Yes.
So like your old giant box stores that went away have been taken over by these either trampoline parks or the bouncy castle indoor parks here in South Texas. Yes.
Idea.
Okay.
Okay. Sickos Committee brand bounce parks.
Okay.
Except here's our thing.
All right.
Full bar.
Ooh.
I've done one of those before, like at my husband's old work when we still lived in Bozeman. His boss for the company picnic rented a giant bouncy house, and there was free liquor, so you can imagine how that went. One of my better afternoons, I have to say.
Not sure that we want the liability insurance on that.
That's why you have waivers, dude.
That's why you have them sign waivers. So if like your
Okay.
coworker blows out his knee on a trampoline while drinking a straight bourbon,
Pitt Girl, that's what the money's
issue.
for.
That's true. That is what the money's for.
Hey, we could sell like bourbon ices.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Moscow mules,
Moscow done.
frosés.
Maybe we may not want to make the drinks quite so kid friendly is the wrong term I'm looking for here. So playful, maybe.
No, I think we do.
Adults only.
Yeah, I look forward to our opportunity to break into the birthday party industrial complex.
I would have my birthday party here. This would solve so many problems for adults who can't figure out what the fuck to do on their birthday after about 26.
This is adults, like the adult. Oh, okay. So we do it. We have a normal kids time, but then it's adult birthdays starting at like 6 p.m.
Okay, that feels
Yeah,
weird.
it's like the community pool, right?
Oh god,
Like,
it's
exactly.
Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Literal Adult Swim.
I can't fathom.
Can't call it adult bounce though.
I was like, no, adult bounce isn't gonna work. Don't put that out in the universe.
It's already the sketchiness of an adult time at a bounce place is just like.
Hey, so here's
like the black light.
Better.
Get the black light out and just start waving the black light over.
So much bleach.
Back in the U District in Seattle, near the Unsafe Way, there used to be a hot tub place.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
Oh, no.
There have been no tenants since it closed down for the reasons you can imagine.
Yeah, you don't want to follow that.
No, sir.
No. I got an idea for a name for this trampoline place. Here we go.
Yeah, go for it.
It's like kid friendly here. Lady in the Trampoline. Jordan has just fallen over.
You know what? Like millennials and their kids love references to Disney movies that they have not seen in decades.
Actually, yes.
All dogs go to bouncy castles.
Better.
Okay. All right.
Better.
Is that better?
When you come inside, somebody goes, "You can never go back." All I'm thinking of with the going from room to room is if you've listened to the Mabim Bam Plato's Rave episode.
Yep.
Where they just shuffle you between rooms. That's all I can think of, but it's a bouncy house.
I think we need to do something first. We need to celebrate a 10-year anniversary. Not to us per se.
No.
But 10 years ago was when cartoonist Ward Sutton put Sicko Guy out into the world.
Yes.
I didn't realize Sicko Guy was this old.
That's the thing. Like this happened February 16th, 2015. like we didn't get created until like late 2020. And I don't know when the first meme usage took place of
Probably
that
immediately afterwards.
with like college
I
football.
feel like I would remember
With
though.
college football, I don't know.
I
No,
feel
but,
like,
like,
people
memes in
use the
general-
Sicko,
I've
but
seen.
I
I
didn't.
remember seeing
yeah.
that dude before. We got it from somewhere else.
I had send Sickos in like 2019 or something like that,
for sure.
2020. Before that, and it was also like the Mariners did stuff with the Sickos guy for
Okay.
Chaos Ball, but I don't remember when the first meme of it showed
There
up.
was some game that was going to be played, and it was not a. I swear it was like a Big Ten game involving Rutgers, and the first thing that I remember is it was a Friday night game, Rutgers, like 2018-19 or whatever, and this is why I call Jason Kirk the, basically the chairman emeritus or the commissioner emeritus. He
Jason's
used
our
it,
dad. It's okay.
yeah,
You can say it.
he used the meme, like staying up late night watching this game, and that was kind of like the first usage that I remember personally. And I gotta see like 2019 Rutgers, like, because this was
Don't
before
Google
Shiano
that.
came
Don't
back.
do that.
Well, I mean,
that's going to be in your Google history for fucking ever. Don't do that.
let's see.
Too late now.
So their first game was, yeah, this could have been it. Friday night, August 30th, Rutgers UMass.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Wow.
What was the final score of that game? Just help me here.
Rutgers won 48-21.
Oh, God.
This was like this was Chris Ash is his last year, I think, because
Okay.
Shiano came back in
Yeah.
2020.
That's right.
Yeah, this is like pretty down bad UConn also.
UMass.
Or UMass, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Hey, Pitt Girl, quickly
Mhm.
describe in the last 20 years what up good UMass looks like. Go.
Yeah, no. Sorry, nope, does not compute.
I said that because they did have the D1 1-2A championship in there somewhere.
Was that in the last 20 years?
No, it wasn't. That's
No,
why I
it was
said
not.
that.
It was 98. Yeah.
I wasn't sure. So I ballparked it.
Yeah, no, I regret to inform you that 1998 is more than 20 years ago.
Hey, you know what I did today though, and did remember I was very proud of myself. I was making a list and I added Delaware and Missouri State to the list.
Yeah,
there you go.
did it. You ready?
I eventually.
Just for your record's sake in UMass football, the last time they had a winning season was 2010.
Okay.
They were still in the CAA at 6-5,
Okay.
which they were still FCS. So, yeah, the most wins that they had in FBS, I believe Mark Whipple 4-8 2017.
That was a
In
good year. I remember.
2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that feels right.
It was rough, buddy.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The MAC will be
I
better
feel
to
like
them.
for me, that was the first usage I remember for college football. Did it like take off like wildfire then? No. But it lay dormant. And we were created in 2020, so late
It's
2020.
okay. All movements start somewhere.
Did they do?
Someone has to lay the foundation.
You got to let the bourbon age, right?
It feels like it's one of those things where it was kind of like a hit in like European music, and it didn't like
like
make
early
it to
Backstreet
America.
Boys before they came over to the
Yeah.
United States.
It was just like, I think I can't remember that one song. I think it was the one song by like Capital Cities or something like that. It was like Safe and Sound. It was like a hit
Yeah.
for like 5 years before it even made it to America. It was just, it's just, I was 3 or 4 years maybe, but that's what it feels like the Sickos meme was before it made it to mainstream college football fan usage by us and pioneered by Mr. Jason Kirk.
It feels wild that when I look at this picture, by the way, I've always said this. I don't know when I did it, but at some point when I was first trying to like turn this meme into something that was usable by us, got the getting the window out of there, just getting the Sicko guy. He's behind the window, right? So I got rid of the window.
Mhm.
But the original Sickos guy has sharp fangs.
Yes.
And at some point I got rid of those, not like by a total accident. I don't know how and when I did it. But it's also funny that our Sickos guys also don't have the fangs.
Mhm.
The ones that like we paid for.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're more like the one that we use, which I find very fascinating.
Our guy's a little bit friendlier. Like we're not gonna bite you. We're just weird.
Our guy has less stubble, I think. And then the lack of fangs really is what it does.
My kid roasted me this morning. He was like, hadn't shaved for 2 days. He's like, "Hey, you look like
Saw this.
you look like the Sickos guy."
Jesus Christ!
You know, it's like I am going to shave right
Get
now.
his ass.
I was like,
Get his ass.
like you look like. I'm like I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna go shave. This morning, I was like, okay. First thing I'm doing is I'm shaving.
How does it feel to get owned by your kid?
I'm just. This is just the beginning. Like it's gonna continue to happen.
Yep. Get his ass.
It's not gonna stop. Like I'm gonna get roasted by the kiddo many more times besides this.
We do have some actual college football news.
Beep 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 beep.
Ohio State's defensive coordinator gets hired away to, anyone remember where?
Penn State.
Goes to Penn State.
For like
Penn State spent
like-
like so many monies.
For $3.1 million for a coordinator. Yes.
James Franklin just trying so hard. And
Right,
hey,
Responsible spender.
trying is cool. We all think that you should try your hardest on things. James Franklin, you trying so hard, my friend. I see it.
He's
We
making
see
an
the
effort.
effort.
We see the effort, James Franklin.
We do.
You like I applaud James Franklin for this. Like he knows that he's got to pull out all the stops to just get to that next level. And man, is he trying. Will it work? I don't know. But man, is he trying.
It's gonna be really funny when it doesn't work. I having spent the last 2 minutes of the podcast making a series of disappointed faces at us saying nice things about James Franklin. What I will say is that it's gonna be really funny when this doesn't work.
Right, when the Ohio State playbook of just spend all your money doesn't work for Penn State.
Yeah. I'm saying like he's trying. I thought I'm saying, is it gonna work? I don't know. But I know he's putting out some effort. Like he's not just sitting there going through the motions. Like he's trying with these coordinator hires. Will he ever find the right combination? Stay tuned. But again, he's making an effort, folks.
This leaves an opening at Ohio State.
It does.
And Ryan Day, who now has all the goodwill he could possibly have in that job, literally.
That's correct.
He'd have more if he had beaten Michigan.
That's true.
Okay. Close to.
Okay.
He takes those chips, he goes all in, and he says, I want Matt Patricia.
Okay.
Fuck
Imagine
yeah,
where you
Ryan
just have
Day.
to be in your life to say, I would like to hire Matt Patricia. I would like to work intimately with this person for the success
Matt
of my
Patricia,
football
please.
team. Right.
The Detroit Lions, it's hard to say he was their worst head coach because that's a pantheon that I'm not.
Man, you're not going to
We could do a whole side podcast on that. Probably
you're not going to beat Rod Marinelli. His only
No.
season was the winless season, but yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
But there are lots of, let's just say, his players at his tenure in Detroit were not disappointed to see him leave. And since then, how has Detroit felt about themselves? Much better. Positive.
pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, I would say
positive actualization works.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know where he played football, Matt Patricia, in college?
I do not.
It was at RPI.
Sorry.
Rensselaer
RPI
Polytech. And he basically went from being a graduate assistant in Syracuse to being an O-line assistant on the 04 Patriots. And that's that's his career.
Like a GA at Syracuse, and then like assistant offensive line coach at the Patriots. And then basically he's been with the Patriots except for those 3 years at the Detroit Lions. And then he was a senior defensive assistant for the Eagles in 2023, and they got rid of him, and then they won a Super Bowl. So I'm not blaming anything on
And
I'm
then
Matt.
sensing a pattern.
But
And
you
then
know,
you
Shout out
pull
to Matt
him in.
Patricia for getting on the elevator at exactly the right time, though.
seems that way.
Maybe there's something I don't know. You know, maybe I don't get all the X's and O's, and I understand that. But hey, Ohio State, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know why.
Ryan Day's got a lot of money and he wants to spend it.
Can't take it with you.
The thing is with this, I don't know what the defensive coordinator pool was.
You're
Well,
Ohio State. You can pay anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Defensive coordinator pool is literally everyone.
Right.
They could have bought their old guy back, probably.
Well, I mean, like bring the bidding war back for Jim Knowles and like get him back.
Here's
for
$4 million.
Here's-
Come back, Jim
Here's
Knowles.
3.2 million. Come on back, and then it's just a bidding war between Penn State
Mm-hmm.
and Ohio State. Man, is this? I don't know. Like, is there any affiliation that Ryan Day has with Matt Patricia? Is it just like, hey, Belichick is in the?
I think it's just the Belichick coaching tree, which doesn't make sense to me because if you've seen how people perform once they leave,
No, that's not a
Patriots-
great coaching tree.
not.
that's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
rotten.
you
That
look-
fucker's rotten. It's gonna fall.
Right. You look at the scoreboard on it and you go, no, I don't want any part of this. And yet people still insist on paying money for these people who completely underperform and I mean, you know what? Get your money.
Yeah, sure. We are pro get your money when you can. So
Shout out to Bill Belichick himself, by the way, who
That's
is
like, I'm
in
thinking,
fact
I'm like,
part
there's
of his
so
own
much.
coaching tree.
Yeah, I know. Like there's
We're
so
about to
much
see
I don't
how that's
understand
gonna
about
go.
Belichick. Yeah. And then just the people that he hires, I'm like, what do you see in these people? Because with a lot of people in different coaching trees, you can go, okay, like I see where you get this. I see where you got this from them. With Belichick, it's like, I don't know what, if anything, you learned, and I don't know what you bring to the table.
What did we learn today, Bill?
oh god.
So I've actually found some stats on Bill Belichick's coaching tree.
Okay.
Overall record now stands at 184 and 268.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what I'm
it's
saying.
great.
This is between Brian Flores, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien, Romeo Crennel, and Eric Mangini. Bill O'Brien has the best record
Yeah, it is.
at
Yeah,
52,
it does.
at 52 and 48. No other coach has a winning record.
Oh my god.
Wow, I thought
That-
Bill O'Brien's record was
man.
better than that.
Yeah,
Jesus.
same.
Grim.
No, his record was much better with the Texans when he was not the GM. What the problem was Bill O'Brien GM.
Well, yeah, not everybody can be Pete Carroll.
You can't do both. Brian Flores is close. He was 24 and 25. Eric Mangini, 33 and 47. Josh McDaniels, 20 and 33. Romeo Crennel, 32 and 63. I feel bad for Romeo because he was coaching the Browns for a bit, I think. Matt Patricia with the Lions, 13 and 29. Joe Judge, 10 and 23.
Yeah, Romeo Crennel just had I really thought he got dealt a bad hand because he was trying with the Browns. He really, really was. But
You
there's
can't.
only yeah.
Those
It's-
maybe we
it's
see
the
that
Browns.
those losses count half as much or something. Just something to handicap that.
Browns adjusted loss.
Right.
Yeah, there needs
Grading
like,
on
with,
a curve.
with the Browns, he was 24 and 40.
That's not bad. That's
no.
For the Browns, yeah.
With Kansas City, he was 4 and 15, and
That's less.
with Houston, which was a temporary or like an interim head coach, he was 4 and 8 after I guess Bill O'Brien got let go. So yeah,
Ugh, this
it's
is
not
just-
great. Now as
this is-
coordinators, they seem to be fine, but like Patricia's like, if you went
But you,
into
look at Josh McDaniels. He's not a great coordinator either. People keep hiring this dude, and I'm like, what? Do numbers just not mean anything to
You
you?
touched-
Are you dyslexic
What
too?
information do you have on this person? What blackmail are you have?
You were close to Tom Brady.
That's literally it. Like, this guy coached Tom Brady.
How many coaches were like, I talked to Johnny Manziel once, and that's my career now?
Yeah.
I mean, some. It's just like, hey, you were in the presence of this person. You had to have some sort of influence.
Right. Something
here.
rubbed off on you.
Like you.
Tom Brady
Surprise.
breathed on you.
He was in the same room as you. He talked about how he doesn't eat tomatoes. Clearly, that's going to help you in this job.
You learned the magic anti-tomato
He
spell.
learned all about antioxidants or something.
The fun thing about this, like Patricia hire, for me, is if it does not go well, like Ohio State will have no patience. Like their fan base will just be like calling for his head after like game 1 or 2, whatever.
In the first quarter, brother, like
probably, like, you know. But this is going to be like the ultimate test of, does the defensive coordinator matter too much in this expanded playoff era when you have
So dumb.
like incredible talent like Ohio State has? So it's like, is it X's and O's or Jimmies and Joes, right? Is that what they say, right?
No, who says that? No one says that.
I've never heard that before in my life.
What is that?
Really?
Besides you.
What? Okay.
I've never heard. What year did you just walk out of?
If you put that on a fancy font,
Commish is old. We do know this. It is a true fact.
If you put that in a fancy font on a graphic, Lane Kiffin would probably retweet it.
How do we get this on our? We have to make an Instagram story of this immediately.
I think if we get Lane to repost something like that, though, I think we have to delete our account because our work has been finished.
Yeah,
we're done. That's it.
I don't know if like Lane will ever acknowledge us, but if he does, I'm gonna laugh.
We'll be like Alexander the Great looking out, and there were no more likes to get.
Lane's terminally online. I know he knows about us, or someone very close to him at least knows about us. Guaranteed.
Oh my God! Screw you guys. Bill Connolly just posted this 4 days ago.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Bill Connolly is also old. It's fine.
Fine. I'm old too. Whatever. Give me shit.
Get his ass.
Jimmies and Joes.
Do y'all know what season it is? It's
winter.
It's mascot auditioning season.
Okay.
And schools are looking for people to be mascots. The big two, though, of course, are up. Purdue Pete. And, of course, Big Red. Now, previously, I believe we found out that you had to be a certain height to be Big Red.
Yes. They wanted...
Yes.
Not true with Purdue Pete.
Really?
Oh, you can be pocket Purdue Pete?
At least not on the graphics or the auditions.
So I was watching the Big Red story, and they were like typically at least 5'7" for Big Red, and then depending on the costume fit. For Purdue Pete,
5'7's a little red. Let's be real. That's not Big Red's a little red.
That is a little red. Yeah, I mean, you can get to 5'9", and it's maybe slightly above average red. But again, it's okay. But like I thought Purdue Pete, like, you had to be like a giant.
Or at least taller than average.
Yeah. Like whatever
it
the
might
7-footer.
The head makes you look tall.
Okay. I thought it was just like whatever the 7-footer that was on the bench for Purdue was just basically Purdue Pete. For Purdue basketball. It's just basically, you don't play much, but you are the backup.
That's how he gets reps in the off season.
That's right. You sign up the NIL deal to be Purdue Pete in the off. Just 7 foot.
We do need to find out when Stanford's tree auditions are, because that is a whole other audition set of things that are fun to follow. However, involve sometimes some violence that they've had to rules lawyer out eventually. Commish?
No height requirement for the Stanford tree, though, I would imagine, given that they build their own tree costume every year.
Isn't that cool? Like, your own tree?
Yeah, I love the year that the tree was a palm tree.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the idea as a smaller person. You could be the Stanford sapling if you are not particularly tall.
Charlie Brown tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
That'd be
potential
really
tree auditioners, if you're listening. Free idea. Please do it.
Take this from us. We want you to have it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's you want to be the Stanford tree, but you have free reign over what tree you are, which is that's cool.
There's
I
so
like
many
that.
choices. A
There's a
Douglas
lot of
fir, a palm
Mhm.
tree,
Well, I mean, totally.
a Georgia pine.
What do you think of all the costumes that you can think of for college football? What do you think is the worst one to wear on a really hot day?
Any of them. I've been a mascot. It's not fun.
But can't like Power Cat at Kansas State, he's just has the
I mean,
head.
it's just the head. Yeah, I give it.
So they see a little bit of
Yeah.
like air breathing.
I mean,
At
like,
least his,
Right,
yeah,
but
at least
even
his
still,
hands
like-
aren't all sweaty.
It's the problem is like you know how in winter they say like you have to protect your head because
Mhm.
that's where
Mhm.
heat escapes.
Mhm.
Right, you
Mhm.
can't even
Oh,
like take
yeah,
it off
okay.
to
Mhm.
like douse water over your head or something like that. Like you're still stuck in that. You're breathing that air.
they got to
over
have
and
some
over
sort of
again.
interior cooling mechanism for.
I'm
I
sure
hope so.
mascot costumes have come a long way since I did
I would
them
hope
in the
so.
early 2000s. I would pray, but
I would hope so.
A nuclear powered mascot costume with a little bitty reactor in the back that just runs the little fan.
that's just
That's
asking
extremely
for like a
Purdue
tiny Chernobyl when a child kicks you.
Okay. It's Chernobyl miniseries shot for shot remake, but it's actually just a tiny little radiation pack on Purdue Pete's back.
For some reason, I'm picturing this occurring at Syracuse, and then they have to put the nuclear sarcophagus over the carrier dome.
Mhm.
I was just gonna
that.
say like Midnight in Bloomington or whatever. Like in was it Adam Higginbotham? Just writing a whole thing about how this happened and how everyone involved was very stupid.
Commish, why are there Boomer Sooner cereals there? Why am I looking at Boomer Sooner cereal?
Do we skip something?
I'm gonna move that down so we keep our football
Okay.
things together.
All right. So somebody tagged the account and they said, "Hey, did you know that Oklahoma had a cereal when they won their national title called Boomer Spooners?"
Boomer Spooners.
Yes.
Nope.
So
Okay.
this was basically like Frosted Flakes, but it was called Boomer Spooners. And so I'm like, okay. And so we got tagged in it. First thing I did immediately is I went to eBay. I was
Yep.
like,
Like you do,
I was
yeah.
like, I just like, I got to see if anybody's selling a box of Boomer Spooners. And I found some results, which is great. I found, this was a couple of days ago, Boomer Spooners cereal box, Oklahoma Sooners, unopened 2001 frosted cornflakes, $15 or best offer, plus $9.80 delivery. Then there was a one below that.
It's expensive delivery.
Okay,
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you, right?
Mhm.
The next one was Bob Stoops signed, autographed Oklahoma Sooners Boomer
Ooh.
Spooners cereal box. That is $25. And $4.63.
Well worth it for the with the signature, huge
With the
upgrade.
autograph. That's right. And then there was another one that just said, cereal box, just the box. Didn't say it was anything in the box. 2001 Boomer Spooners, Oklahoma Sooners, 15-ounce, owned by a sports memorabilia company, $45. Just the box. Not any flakes, plus $6 delivery. So, I mean, like, the best value, I think you gotta have. I mean, do you want the cereal?
If it's a legit autograph, though, is it just that every box is signed?
No. The only one that's signed is the $25 one.
Are you sure? Because I sort of see a signature on all of these.
The pricing here just generally does not make any
No.
sense. But
No,
that's eBay for you.
The only signature is right here on the actual.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only one that's like signed, autographed is the one in the middle. I didn't verify signatures on the other two.
That's, you know what? I would never ask you to do that because that feels
Okay.
like
It felt like I didn't know what I didn't know I was going to be grilled on it until we're on the podcast. So I'm searching eBay right now.
Sickos Antique Show.
We used to just, make cereals to celebrate things, and I think we've lost that as a society.
We have. Oh, there it is. Boomer Spooners. It's in my recently viewed. Perfect.
Of course it is.
The $15 one is not autographed. It is not autographed.
Well, you gotta get the autograph.
You would have to get the autographed one.
That's
So
what the
there-
money is for.
Okay,
Yeah.
the $45 one is still there. The one that says
Is it just the
autographed.
flattened box?
It looks like
It looks just like the box is just flattened.
Yes,
which,
the
like,
box
I
is
guess
flattened.
makes it easier to immediately hang it up in your home.
Why
But-
is shipping $4 then? Just throw it in a flat rate envelope.
If it fits the
Mhm.
chips. So the one in the middle
Yeah.
is the only one that's signed. The $45 one is not signed.
That's
You can see the autograph. You can see
Wild.
the autograph right below the schooner.
wild. Just
That's right.
wild shit.
Yes. So, I mean, if you want to relive the national championship days of Oklahoma with the Boomer Spooners, it's available on eBay. They're still there. The three that I'm talking about right now are still there. I don't know if they'll be there when you listen to this on Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
We might have bought all of them by then.
Could have. Yeah, the $45 one is just the box. It looks like it's in mint condition, I guess. I don't like
Oh,
box-
well then.
a flattened box. And
Wow.
the other one with the autograph looks in just as good condition too. I don't, I mean, there's, 50% of your daily value of riboflavin.
I mean,
I
who
mean,
doesn't
You can't
love
put a
some
price tag
riboflavin?
on that.
No,
You
do
can't.
that. That's right.
You think it still has that much riboflavin in it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Does riboflavin, is it still
It's
good like
deteriorate-
24
I
years
don't
later? I don't-
Yeah,
I don't
does it I don't know if it's one of the things that like diminishes over time.
Maybe it's a forever chemical.
Yeah, these aren't going to be like Twinkies where they'll survive the apocalypse.
No.
But I'm also not willing to find out.
Oh,
But listener, if you purchase these and are willing to find out, please let us know. We
Sorry.
would like to know.
I mean, I
We
may
are not
need to ship
responsible
this.
for anything that happens to you.
I'm going to ship this to the corn correspondent and,
Yeah.
and see if he will eat
Cornflakes,
it.
it makes sense. His
That's right.
His body's inured to this kind of stuff.
I mean,
Oh yeah, he's consumed enough Malort that like he'll be fine. It's
Right.
fine.
the main thing on this box, it says it's a fat-free food and a cholesterol-free food.
Okay.
Seems
So
healthy.
So 2001. Here's this corn product. It's healthy.
It's healthy, I promise. It's frosted.
It's better for you than Malort, which is it's an easy sell for someone in Nebraska.
I would say that's not saying much, but
Right.
it is
Listen,
sure,
bars
it
on
sure
the
is
floor,
saying
but
something.
we're a little bit above the bar.
That's right.
Still
Look at
true.
all this riboflavin.
It's got
Does,
vitamins and
does
nutrients.
Malort have riboflavin?
I don't
Hey,
know.
There
what
you
if we
go.
take Malort and just a little bit of powdered caffeine and you mix that in?
Like in the cereal?
No, in Malort.
Oh,
So you're suggesting American Buckfast,
Yes. But
not made by
worse.
monks.
Yeah,
But worse.
Yeah, but and also
in every
worse.
way.
okay.
Okay. I'm
Cool.
listening.
I
I mean, also, isn't this illegal? Because this is just Four Loko again.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say,
shit.
like, you're doing what I did prior to this podcast, which is just recreating Four Loko in the aggregate.
Oh my god.
We
You
have
could-
the technology. We could rebuild him.
Right, like
You
I
could-
know how this works. I was tired, I had an energy drink, and now I'm having a drink. This is how it works.
You could have gotten like merchandise associated with this too. There was a Boomer Spooners OU t-shirt, hat, and cereal bowl. It said
Now I am listening.
it said visit www.collegecereals.com. There's no way that's
Oh,
Oh, yeah. now,
this is
okay.
a website that we're
Committee,
finding
those
out
things.
about.
There is no way that still works.
There's no way. There's no way.
If it does, I'm gonna laugh.
It redirects to
.com
a domain
Go.
registrar.
It's spinning.
404 not found.
Oh,
Does that mean it's available though?
I mean, we may have to buy this.
Potentially.
If it's available, Arthur might have to cut this. So,
It's still spinning for me. It's like it's never gonna.
just like how I had to make a shirt I just turned a shirt around in 12 hours because we missed it on the podcast.
I have Googled college cereals, one word, Google gave me result for college cereals, 2 words, and I hate the AI overviews, but
They're so bad.
this one is funny. College students often eat Cheerios, Apple Jacks, and other cereals for breakfast. When choosing a cereal, you can consider its nutritional content and taste. Popular cereals: Cheerios, a classic cereal made from toasted whole grain oats. Apple Jacks, a cereal that some students eat for a sugar boost. Frosted Mini Wheats, a popular cereal from Kellogg's. Fruit Loops, a popular cereal from Kellogg's. Lucky Charms, a popular cereal. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, a popular cereal. Honey Bunches of Oats, a popular cereal. Frosted Flakes, a popular cereal from Kellogg's. Honey Nut Cheerios, a popular cereal.
Fries.
Well, I can tell you
And
exactly
then
where
it
that
talks
comes
about
from.
nutrition.
Yeah, because like
Jesus.
I also Googled college cereals just to see what came up. And the first ones are like, oh, here's how you buy cereals for your college in bulk. Because college students love cereal only slightly less than they love coffee. And like, here's how you order like XYZ cereal in bulk.
Okay. Oh, I found an old article about this from a local news affiliate. First ever Alabama, Arkansas, Michigan, and Nebraska collegiate cereals now available online.
Oh man.
Tuesday, November 7th, 2000.
Okay.
Wait,
Oh, God.
do we know what they're called?
Okay.
We have some research to do.
I'm
What
on
would the
eBay right
Michigan
now.
one be
Like
called?
Michigan cereal.
The Virginia Tech one was called Hokey Toasties.
Oh, that's
Yes!
good. That's really
That's
good.
very good.
This partnership brings these officially licensed cereal brands this fall. Aubie Flakes for
Okay.
Auburn, Crimson Crunch for Alabama, Cornhusker Crunch for Nebraska,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Naturally.
HOG'EMS for
HOG'EMS.
Arkansas.
Oh my god. I need this right now.
It's just pork
And
rinds.
the
It's nothing
Michigan
but
one
pork
was
rinds.
called Maize and Blue.
Oh.
Naturally.
Oh.
It's a
Okay.
corn-based product.
Okay, back
Yeah.
up to
I
HOG'EMS,
found it.
which
HOG'EMS.
I believe is just, it's got to be just pork rinds with milk.
I found it. HOG'EMS. It's the same thing. It's Frosted Flakes.
We
Are
might
they
have to write a
Oh.
Substack about this.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
put that link.
Behiv.
Behiv.
I will drop the link in the chat.
HOG'EMS. I'm gonna. Somebody needs. I'm gonna just tweet HOG'EMS.
Okay,
I don't know
okay,
where.
cool. HOG'EM.
Okay, cool. HOG'EMS. I'm tweeting this right now.
Vintage
Just,
HOG'EMS.
Sorry if there's
Why
a
is
screen.
the hog in a jail?
I don't know. HOG'EMS. It's like an
He had
auction
too
site.
much riboflavin.
Too much rival flame.
An illegal amount.
Limited edition collector's box. Oh my god, it has the like officially licensed thing on the
Of course it
side.
does.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
it does.
Like you bought a hat.
Y'all want some new
HOG'EMS?
college football team news?
Sure.
I mean, sure.
Yes, always.
So, Chicago State is on their way to getting their FCS football program that they've been looking for a long time. They have announced
Woo!
their search for their first coach.
Nice.
Right now, all of Chicago State sports are in the NEC. They were independent for a long time. Well, not a long time, but long enough. And I would assume that if this all happens, they just slot their program right in the NEC. I think that was part of the reason to bring them in.
The funny thing about this is that we had like one person, like this was announced maybe about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe last Saturday. It was just like, you need to talk about Chicago State football on the podcast. Like just consistently like mentioning us, talk about Chicago State football. I'm like, okay, we're going to do that. It's on the podcast notes. I promise. We're going to do it. So, we're talking about Chicago
Here we
State
are.
football. I have no idea who they could hire. Maybe Chicago State could hire away Matt Patricia from Ohio State. I don't,
Don't put that evil on them. They're just getting started.
they're not gonna, I don't think they have that money to hire Matt Patricia like Ohio State.
Dear listeners, if you want to know actual facts about Chicago State's football program and where they are on their athletics department, I recommend Matt Brown at Extra Points reporting on this. He has covered Chicago State a bunch, and even when they were back at, like independent in basketball, which was a real rough time for them, but he goes through and has talked to their AD and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend his reporting. It is very, very good. But from what I remember, this is something they've wanted for a very long time. They've wanted this program. They've wanted to feel like they're like part of the D1 FCS, that tier of schools.
It's nice to have an FCS team in that area, I would say, because Chicago has a lot of talent. You have Northwestern, who claims, then you have NIU, you have Notre Dame, you have Illinois, you have, like Wisconsin. There's a lot of like bigger schools in the area that
Chicago,
Chicago's D3, but this is going to be, scholarship FCS, I will say, unless they join the Pioneer League, then I'm incorrect. So I feel like this is good to have FCS. Maybe they could, it feels like they should be with like Eastern Illinois, Indiana State, but you don't want to join the Missouri Valley Football Conference. I'm just going to say that. You don't want to do that. Do not do that. Do not do that, Chicago State.
Love yourselves.
Don't do that.
Arthur, that is an excellent jacket.
Let's go into our ad read. As always, folks, look at our link tree on our Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky profiles for various discounts. Check out our Patreon for $5 a month. You can support us in what we do. Helps us out a bunch. Continue doing the things that we love to do and that you guys love reading and listening about. We also have our a special pod series coming out soon with me, Commish, and friend of the program, Roger Sherman from Road Raj newsletter. We have our merch store, which is sickoscommittee.org, with some Oh No Disaster and Linear Time Was a Mistake merch. Shirts are up now, and long sleeves as well.
I just made a Linear Time Was a Mistake mug.
I'm very excited about it.
And I didn't just do like the logo on one side and the other side. I put the entire thing wrapped around the whole.
And
wrapped
it's
around
all
the whole mug.
glowy.
It's all glowy and it's pretty enjoyable. There's like three different colors that you could get with that mug, but it's nice, and I'm just gonna keep throwing stuff up there, which is randomly doing stuff things.
We have our YouTube, we have our Instagram, we have our Twitch, where Arthur has streamed twice now, I believe.
Yes, Arthur did do that. That's right.
How's CK2 going?
He was given
CK3.
He was given love advice last night with Corvallis Love. No, Corvallis Love was not there, but people were requesting Corvallis. That was nobody.
Corvallis Love had too much fun in the champagne room at the trampoline park.
I did have a little bit fun. Lady in the trampoline.
No bouncing in the champagne room.
Ain't no bouncing in the champagne room.
Oh fuck! I hate you guys so much sometimes.
No, you don't.
This is why you hang out and talk to us.
Yeah, this is what keeps the people coming back for more. Actually,
right.
Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go the places we refuse to go, and as always, the softest, comfiest collegiate apparel, homefieldapparel.com. Their hockey hoodies are so nice. I don't have one, but I have looked at them and coveted them.
They're so good.
I wish I had a team of those teams that were was my team that I could hop onto. A lot of them feel like I'd be bandwagoning if I jumped on it, which is why I avoid. But they look so comfy and amazing.
Homefield, I am once again asking for you to license RIT, and just even if you just do the hockey hoodie, that would be great. Thanks.
Today I am wearing a Cal shirt and my Tulane joggers. I see a Michigan hoodie, a North Florida Osprey shirt. Yes. Use our offer code, yes, yes, 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. Go get yourself something nice right now. It's that time of year where things are starting to get a little dragging a little bit. Go get yourself something nice.
Get a little retail therapy going on to help you get through the dog days of winter and snow. Hopefully your delivery man can make it there and not have to go pick up your Amazon package like Bridget.
I mean, it was down the street, but I got there and I said, hey, I was like, people calling me, like, I'm glad to come get stuff. Don't put yourself to any trouble for me just because I got, like, a new mic that didn't come with a cord, so I can't use it yet. But they're like, oh no, we already had to get towed out. So that's how much snow we had this morning.
Now, Commish,
Yes, sir.
last night, Illinois was gonna celebrate one of their players.
Uh-huh.
What happened?
So they were going to retire the number of Terrence Shannon Jr., who played for them in 2023 and 2024. So this is 2025. Like there's no gap here in this. So basically they had him come back and they were going to retire his number. The one problem is when they unveiled his number and they didn't have the banner the right side up. They had it upside down.
How do you fuck it up that badly? How do you fuck it up that badly?
So
It's in distress.
Yes, the retired jerseys only do this when they're in distress. So I got to this point that I keep seeing everybody tweeting about, haha, this guy's retired jersey's upside down. It's retired jersey upside down. Haha, Terrence Shannon's jersey. Haha, Illinois. Haha, haha, haha. I got to this point where I was like, I feel like I'm being like worked by Illinois. Like they did this intentionally to get more attention for Terrence Shannon Jr. To get more attention for him. And now his like jersey retirement has gone viral. And so basically what I had to say to this was just like, hey, I did the thinking meme guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, get jersey retired. It's nice. Fans of your team know about it. Get jersey retired upside down. It goes viral. And now everyone knows you got your jersey retired.
You raise a potentially valid point. The question that I have here, though, is, and I don't know, maybe this is just me, but like, he just played for Illinois and they're already retiring his number?
Yeah, like
that's weird.
It is weird. Like, I mean, I know there used to be like the Hall of Fame. You got to wait 5 years. It's like people retire and then the next year here's a retirement ceremony. Like you don't. I mean, I get it. I mean, Terrence Shannon Jr. is playing for the Timberwolves right now. He's on the T-Wolves team. And like in between the T-Wolves and the G League Iowa Wolves, which okay.
There's something very funny about Iowa Wolves.
I know, right?
Too many W sounds.
Are they made out of corn? Like
probably
the corn wolves.
Yeah, Iowa Wolves.
Iowa Wolves.
All I hear is just the Barbara Walters, the SNL, Baba Wawa, Iowa Wolves.
Iowa Wolves.
I love the Iowa Wolves logo because it's kind of like the Timberwolves logo, but it just looks like it's really shocked that I'm really an Iowa Wolf,
Oh, it does.
That's the right expression, buddy.
It looks kind of confused. Like, where the fuck am I? Now, I will say that they did get this flipped.
Yes.
They had the presentation. It was lovely. And I think that actually retiring numbers now for basketball and college is easier now that the rule about numbers is no longer there.
Yeah, you couldn't have a number from like 60 to 99, I think.
You had to be able to signal with two hands, basically.
Yeah.
So you couldn't you couldn't have 18, but you could have like 15. You could have 45, whatever.
You could have like 50. Double zero. I think it was 59.
55. 55 was the highest number.
55. Okay.
So, two hands. 5-5.
Yeah. So they've relaxed that rule. I saw like somebody with, I can't remember who I was watching. I think it was Big South, but the basketball, but like somebody had the number 64 and it looked weird as hell on the back of a basketball jersey. But, the fun part of when they raised the banner, they had to start the game. So this thing went upside down for at least the first half until they correct the mistake. So it's like, yeah, we messed up. Oh, we're gonna lower this down at halftime to fix it.
The lower it down and fix it drop of shame is just because everyone's watching. Everyone knows they're cheering for you. Probably you're probably getting like good crowd work. Oh, just
Yeah.
I can't with this. So Jim Tressel is Lieutenant Governor of Ohio. What is this next bit?
Okay. So I wanted to go over this bit here. So Jim Tressel got nominated. They basically it was open, and so the Ohio governor appointed Jim Tressel Lieutenant Governor of Ohio.
Former Ohio State coach
Jim Tressel
then became president of Youngstown State.
Yes,
I believe
he was a Youngstown State
Yes.
coach too. So the sweater vest had to leave Ohio State coaching due to like a tattoo scandal. Basically, they were trading memorabilia.
No, the kids these days don't understand that. It's all NIL.
Yeah.
Kids these days don't understand tattoo.
Yeah.
Gate.
Yes. So Tattoo Gate is.
I remember Tattoo Gate.
Yes. So if you don't know what Tattoo Gate is, it's basically there was a point in time where some Ohio State players, famously Terrell Pryor, along with other Ohio State players, were trading in game-worn memorabilia to tattoo shops in exchange for tattoos that they didn't have to pay for. And that was an NCAA impermissible benefit, which wound up getting suspended and ultimately led to Jim Tressel being dismissed from head coach.
Commish, in what year did Tattoo Gate occur?
It feels like
remember?
2000. It feels like 2014, 15, maybe
2010.
10. All right, so 15 years ago. So okay, say it.
I feel old.
Say it. Well, I mean, you got to say the line. Saw that mug, baby.
Linear time was a mistake. Yes.
Oh, all right,
Now available on mug. Buy the mug.
that's right. So now had to resign in disgrace, essentially, leave Ohio State due to like a scandal, and then became lieutenant governor. This reminded me of another story that happened back in the 1950s. Now, I did research for the blogs and everything like this, and I was going over the Pac-12 Pacific Coast Conference to Pac-12 timeline. In this timeline, there was a coach for the Washington Huskies. His name was John Cherburg. He wound up getting fired from Washington in a similar style as Jim Tressel, and then wound up becoming the lieutenant governor of his state, Washington. So there's kind of some parallels here that happen. And nowadays, both of these things were kind of very similar, and they're probably like, hey, it's NIL nowadays. So John Cherburg, fired from Washington, the Washington Huskies in 1955. His team was 10-18-2 from 1953 to 1955. Historians pay tribute to Cherburg as one of the founding fathers of something called Probation Nation. Basically, his team held a mutiny to get rid of him in 1955.
Ooh.
And some of his players were paid by a downtown Seattle slush fund, which led to a 2-year probation for every single University of Washington athletic team.
That's some wild shit.
Hell yeah, go Dogs.
So,
Crimes.
so he got removed in 1955. Then Cherburg went on to be Washington State's longest serving lieutenant governor from 1957. So basically 2 years after he got fired for this, became the lieutenant governor of the state of Washington until his death in 1989.
Hell yeah, do crimes.
What state just allows you to be lieutenant governor for 50 fucking years?
Washington, apparently. So
the shit is this?
So this is funny. The story, what happened here is kind of incredible, and it links up through so many things of history in college football. In late 1955, after the aftermath of the slush fund scandal that landed the Huskies on NCAA probation for 2 years and led to the firings of John Cherburg and athletic director Harvey Castle. As part of cleaning up the athletic program, the UW Board of Regents hired George Briggs, an assistant athletic director at Cal, as replacement for Castle. Briggs offered Cherburg's job to three prominent coaches: Michigan State's Duffy Doherty, Oklahoma's Bud Wilkinson, and Texas A&M's Bear Bryant.
Jesus.
Okay, everybody rejected the offer.
Yeah, no shit.
But Wilkinson from Oklahoma suggested Darrell K. Royal, the head coach at Mississippi State, who
I
had
forgot
played
about
quarterback
this.
for Wilkinson at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The 31-year-old Darrell K. Royal agreed to a 4-year contract at $17,000 per year, one of the highest salaries in the nation at the time. Under Royal, the Huskies went 5-5, finishing 5th in the Pacific Coast Conference. At the end of the 1956 season, Texas offered its head coaching job to Royal, a native of Hollis, Oklahoma, and Briggs accepted Royal's resignation. Royal became the first Husky football coach to leave the program voluntarily since before Gil Dobie was hired in 1908. This kind of reminded, like,
Wild.
Tressel getting hired as lieutenant governor reminded me of this story. And I was just like, I just wanted to tell this story because it's like, holy crap, like this happened before. I feel like that Back to the Future meme. I was like, hey, I've seen this one before. When Tressel
History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
It does. So it was just like, okay, he got fired for like a slush fund that was paying players, and I was like, if you consider the tattoo scandal from 2010, a bit of a slush fund before NIL. There was NIL, which nowadays it's like, okay, yeah, players could probably trade their memorabilia for some tattoos.
Yeah. I mean, that's the wild thing is that this was enough to cause, a major scandal in Ohio State football. And nowadays we're just like, fuck it. It's fine. Only tattoos? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's just like incredible. And, I'm sure there was probably some more stuff that we didn't hear about, but basically that's...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But the Tressel story reminded me of that one, and I felt like telling that on the podcast because, you have a 40-year stint of Washington's lieutenant governor, which is incredible, especially after his players were like, nah, man, get this guy out of here. And the state was like,
the
okay.
collective action to oust this guy. And then he's just hanging out in Olympia for 40 years.
It's like, okay.
So I looked at his Wikipedia page, and there's a section on his political career, the last paragraph of which is this. Following his defeat in the mayoral campaign, he had run for mayor of Seattle in 1964. He once again ran for lieutenant governor. He served continuously under Republican Governor Daniel J. Evans, 1965 to 1977, Democrat Dixie Lee Ray, 1977 to 1981, Republican John Spellman, 1981 to 1985, and for the first term of Democrat Booth Gardner, 1985 to 1989. In his last race, he won comfortably with 63% of the vote. Cherburg stepped down in the 1988 race, having served as lieutenant governor for nearly a third of Washington State's history at the time. At his death, he was the longest-serving lieutenant governor in United States history. So I guess Washington just doesn't have term limits for lieutenant governor.
No,
nope.
It's crazy. And then, like, I love, like, the governor thing. Like, it's never like governor and lieutenant governor run together. It's like two separate tickets.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arthur, I saw a car go through the air like a fucking flying squirrel tonight.
Oh, in NASCAR?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll happen. They haven't figured out how to keep
at
on the
Daytona.
ground yet.
Yeah. The interior camera view of that car made me a bit sick to my stomach, I won't lie.
I mean, I've seen worse crashes for that driver in the past 2 years. So
I did not watch the Daytona 500. Who was it?
The guy who flipped again was Ryan Preece.
Okay.
Apparently he's done that here before.
Yeah. I mean it's the kind of wreck where someone gets turned at the front of the field and then they're just kind of on the track going much slower now that they've crashed into the wall than everyone else. And, a certain ways back in the pack, you just can't avoid it anymore. And then there's a great speed delta between the cars in the pack racing and the car that has crashed and is just sitting there. But yeah, I have racing I want to talk about. I feel like sometimes with some of the stuff we talk about, especially with racing, just because that's my area of expertise, sometimes I feel like we kind of give a lot of talk to like kind of the top stuff,
Okay.
like in college football, right? Like we're talking about like the ULMs of the world, but I feel like a lot of like even when people like trust me, I know kind of what our audience responds to with racing. Like I feel like our audience really responds to like the racing equivalent of Ohio State or Alabama or something.
Mhm.
I want to tell you what the real sicko stuff is,
That's right.
because I was reminded again because for some reason ARCA runs Daytona every year. This the same weekend as the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and they have for forever.
Yeah. If you don't know what ARCA is, there's a reason for that. I would say that it is like if you're familiar with NASCAR, right? There's like the top NASCAR series, and then NASCAR has their own series underneath it.
Yes.
So there's two series underneath like the main series, and then ARCA is kind of underneath that, but not officially part of NASCAR even. And as you've seen in motorsports, like even the top teams kind of struggle with finding sponsorship and getting funding. So ARCA is struggling even worse than them, right? If you watch an ARCA race, you will notice all of the cars look old. Like
Yeah.
I think the Chevy cars in ARCA are still like a Chevy SS that might look like 10 years old. Like all of the cars are like modeled off of like what a car looked like 10 years ago, what a stock car looked like 10 years ago, cuz it's just sort of like they just sort of run with just really old equipment.
I'm going to tell you this, Arthur. There was an ARCA driver that reached out to us last year as a committee, and he was talking about the committee of potentially being a sponsor on the side of his car.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
ARCA teams like run on such a shoestring budget nowadays that I mean, I don't know how many of the drivers that were in the race this weekend like only had something lined up for that race. I know a lot of them did because they mentioned it like on the broadcast like hey, like hopefully I'll be able to drive again sometime later this year, but this is the only one that I have sponsorship for. You'll see all like legit like you'll just see like podcasts and streamers. There was someone in the race who I'd never heard of, but the Fox broadcast because this for some reason was broadcast on like Fox.
That's pretty
Like
cool.
it was
That's
Big Noon
pretty cool.
Saturday. It was straight up Big Noon Saturday. It was noon on Saturday on Fox. But there was someone in the field who was just like a YouTuber, and they were just shouting out like, yeah, like this, like it wasn't like he was a YouTuber necessarily that then was also a race car driver and had sponsorship. It was like, oh no, like his YouTube channel is big enough that like they can sponsor, like his YouTube channel can sponsor him doing the race.
Subscribe to our YouTube. Make Jordan drive.
But
I was going to say, so Commish, what I'm hearing here is that's what the money is for.
Look. When we got the breakdown of what parts of the car we could afford,
It was not great spots.
let's just say where we were at the time, we would not be able to afford a good spot. Where we are now, maybe we'll get something a little bit better, but I would really love to see us on the hood, but we cannot afford hood money. I'll say
yeah,
that.
the hood is
No.
the most expensive real estate.
It'd be great though.
But we could afford like Fender, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Like I think the most that we could afford at the time was like right behind the back tire.
Yeah, I believe it's what it
Like,
was.
the-
Yeah.
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
little
Car
tiny
ass.
like on the back. I don't even know what side it was. Either the driver, I think passenger side was less expensive. I think that
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
facing
because
away.
The cameras,
Yeah.
the cameras are focused on the
Yes.
driver's side.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, so like ARCA, it's like, I mean, it's downright amateurish because like it straight up is. I mean, they're talking in the race, and like a driver will be leading, and they'll talk about like their day job. And it's not like sports car racing where it's like, oh, that's the CEO of the company that's on the car. It's like that guy's a pizza delivery driver and like is running this race. But because it's so like amateurish, it's such a mess. So this was an 80 lap race. There were 7 cautions, and it was not like the cautions you'll see in like the NASCAR Cup Series where it's like, oh, someone like was pushing or someone made a block or something. Like, no, this was just like, yep, like a car spun by itself and then other cars piled in. Like that's what it was. There was another wreck
It's
that's
got a lot of
not
Mario Kart
officially
vibes on this.
considered a caution because it happened after the checkered flag.
Oh, hell yeah.
It
Hell
it
yeah.
happened
Love to see it.
after like they crossed the finish line and like one of the drivers didn't realize the race was over and like just ran into the back of the cars in front of him that had slowed down.
No,
They're just like me for real.
Yeah, that is very much giving like random woman driving a Suburban, like mom driving a Suburban on her phone, not paying attention at a red light.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean I was seeing posts on Blue Sky saying like, you know, this is what people who don't watch NASCAR think NASCAR is.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people talking about like how embarrassing it looked. But I mean, I just think that, you know, when you talk about like what does sickos mean, I think that's something that we're always trying to figure out. But I just think that like I struggle to find how it could get more sickos than putting something like ARCA at Daytona. Right? Because like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
these lower
Mhm.
level racing series, they race on much smaller tracks. Like that's the crazy thing is just this is a 2.5 mile high banked racetrack that they're
could we
putting
say
ARCA at.
that this is like, let's say it's the New Orleans Bowl where they played the Sugar Bowl and the national championship game in the same stadium, but slightly different because it's still the same dimensions of the field. But in
Yes,
terms of
if there
yeah.
was something about the field that was like actively, I mean, honestly, maybe
High school?
actively dangerous in a certain point.
Okay, all right,
Like
never mind.
Yeah.
it would be like if somehow you were playing a game in the Superdome where like
It's the mascot versus kids game.
yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't want to trash
The
ARCA
super
too badly.
lava.
I was gonna say Jerry World, but the sun's in everybody's eyes all the time.
Yeah,
I'll never
it'd be like
forget how
if you had
pissed off
some
I
sort of
was.
like video game, not a power up, the opposite of a power up.
So Mario
A
Kart.
blue shell.
Everyone's getting blue shell.
Yeah.
Everyone
gets
has
blue.
everyone has the ink screen.
Yeah.
Everybody has the ink screen. The entire. It's Ricky Bobby when he had his sponsor on the windshield and he couldn't see.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically that.
by the halfway point, more than half the cars had crashed out already. Like 40 cars started. I think you got to midway and it was like there's only like 16 cars left.
Just
Hey,
kinda
that means
surprised.
What a
the Fox scorebug's way easier to read then.
It is.
It's
Right?
not because they literally just have huge amounts of real estate to just say like out.
Oh,
out,
that's
out.
annoying.
they don't fix it.
It's like that one European Grand Prix where half the field just goes out, and
Yeah.
Yeah, then there's like 4 people left. Yes.
But
Uh-huh.
those drivers are held to just a much higher standard than ARCA has. I don't know. Like I don't want it to sound like I'm hating on ARCA.
No,
Or
not at all.
something,
no,
but
it's,
just
like
it's-
wonderful. I'm still hearing a business opportunity. Friends, subscribe to the Patreon, and we'll go and I'll photograph all the fun wrecks, and you'll get to see them.
Mhm.
I don't see how we lose in this situation.
All right. Well, I have one more racing thing to talk about.
Okay.
Which is the news that Pitbull is
Oh.
no longer part of Trackhouse Racing.
Oh my God.
No.
So I know I'm sad about it too. So if you don't know Trackhouse Racing, it started up I think like 3 years ago, maybe 4 now. Now that we're starting a new season, and Pitbull was kind of one of the original co-owners, and I don't have all of the details. Like, it hasn't come out or anything about like specifics on the split, but Pitbull did announce that he's no longer with Trackhouse. So that's a little bit of a bummer as someone who's a big Pitbull fan and also a big NASCAR fan. Pitbull did get to perform finally before the Daytona 500. He was scheduled to do the pre-race concert last year, and it got rained out, and he just said like, "Yep, I'm coming back next year," and he did. So shout out to him. But you know what I think? You know what I am excited about in terms of Pitbull collaborating with the Wild World of Sports?
What?
This is gonna be a great visual gag for all of our podcasts.
He's taking his shirt off.
Uh-oh.
But I just
Oh.
an
Oh,
FIU
boy.
Pitbull shirt.
Pitbull.
Hell yeah.
FIU. It's Pitbull Stadium, and let me tell you.
What's on the back? What's on the back? Do a turn for us, Arthur.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
hell
Wow.
yeah. Hell
Wait,
yeah.
stand up. I gotta see the bottom.
In the Vice colors.
There we go.
With Pitbull's drawn face. It's so good. That's
And
so
palm
good, Arthur.
trees. That's fantastic.
I got it on Pitbull's online merch store.
Of course you did.
I'm glad he's supporting the FIU team on his merch store. Good for him.
That's right.
Hey, can I drop in a little soccer news here?
Do it.
Yeah, go,
Can we,
go
before
for it.
we get off Pitbull, I have
Yeah.
one thing. I'm just stuck on him departing from Trackhouse Racing. Ask not for whom the doll lays. It dollayed for Trackhouse Racing. That's all.
Boo.
Leave me alone.
You didn't say it.
I want to talk about a little team called Vikinger Reykjavik.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I can guess where they're based out of.
You want to bet? They're called Vikinger Reykjavik because there's another Vikinger club in Iceland, I believe. Their actual full name is Knattspyrfuglaget.
You better Reykjavik yourself before
Can you put this in the chat so someone who can speak a Scandinavian language can actually pronounce it?
Yeah, but it's got
Thank
the little.
you,
But it's got the little Icelandic thingies.
You better Czechoslovakia yourself before you Reykjavik yourself.
Okay, I'm putting it in the chat. Here you go.
Yeah. Icelandic
It's in the
listeners,
it's in
I'm
the chat now.
sorry.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
Well, Brigit looks at that. Go.
Reykjavik
Hang on.
yourself.
I'm going to sound this out to myself. Hang on.
Okay, go for it.
It looks like Knott's Berry Farm.
While she's doing that,
okay.
This team
At Berry Farm.
is in Reykjavik. They are currently in Europa Conference League.
Oh yes.
Knockout playoffs.
Oh God! So they haven't even made group stage yet. Okay.
So no, they made the big 39 team group. They finished.
Can we
not in the top? Go ahead, yes, ma'am.
Can we back up half a second for those of us who do not watch European soccer and explain what the Europa League is?
Okay, so there is Champions League, which is basically it's about the top teams of every country's league. Then there's Europa League, which is like the mid-tier teams of about every country's league. And then there's Europa Conference League, where we're at right now, which is like the smaller nations, their top teams. And like the teams that are maybe like extremely mid-table in bigger nations, so to speak. Just so,
for example, Vikinger, they won the Icelandic League. They were in Champions League, lost their first game, so then they dropped down to the next contest down, basically. Brigit,
okay,
you have an answer?
Here we go. Knattspyrnufélagið Vikinger.
I'll take it.
Do it.
Okay.
So Vikinger has been.
It's close.
They've been on a tear lately. In Conference League, they beat Albanian side Ignacia in the second qualifying round, Estonian side Flora in the third qualifying round, Andorran side UE Santa Coloma in the playoff round, and then in the league phase, they have all these teams. They have like a 39 team league. They came in 19th place, which qualifies them for the knockout playoff round. All that means is that the big thing was is that they got to play Greek side Panathinaikos. Oh, I would get this wrong. Panathinaikos. Thank you. They are traditionally a big Greek side. They're like haven't been as good as lately. They're one of the big boys. Now, this was supposed to be Vikingers' home part of this.
The home
However,
leg.
there are no stadiums in Iceland which qualify to be good enough for a game at this level. So they had to play their home game in Helsinki. Now, listeners, it is about the same distance from Reykjavik to Helsinki as it is from Athens to Helsinki.
Cool.
So they had to play a neutral site game?
As their home game, yes.
Yes, okay.
But they beat the Greek side 2-1. Huge
Nice.
win for the Vikings.
Hell yeah,
All
skull.
right.
Hell yeah.
Now they have to go to Athens next.
Vikings
And-
do travel pretty well in the Nordic
Mhm.
seas.
Yeah, they are known for that.
They're
Arthur,
known for that.
my favorite CK2 playthrough I ever did was I had Vikings, but then I converted them to Islam.
Hell yeah.
And so with our Norse swords, we cut swaths through Christendom in the name of Allah. It was great.
Not only bringing back the coinage
Okay.
from
Yeah.
the Middle East, but
Is that like-
also religion.
Is that like
Yeah.
Civ 7 is out? So enjoy that.
Oh, it's so good. My husband sent me a screenshot of it earlier. This is a great visual. He unlocked heraldry.
Okay. You like heraldry?
And the quote with it was, "Yes, but do you have a flag?"
Beautiful.
Civ 7, so good.
This is
Same.
making me want to buy and play Civ 7, even though I absolutely should not do that right now because my, some of the other stuff I'm doing in my life will not thank me for that. And also because I have sworn to myself since I bought Civ 6 and hated it at launch that I'm just going to wait until all the DLC is out and buy
Good
it when it's
answer.
the complete
Yeah,
edition. It goes on Steam
That's
sale.
not a bad idea, given that they've done 3 patches already. Like,
Good
Wow.
answer.
Mhm.
people were complaining about the UI, and
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so
So-
I don't think it's a bad move.
I just wait, and I have like 500 hours in 5 and like 80 hours in 6 because I did what I just described with 6. So
Now,
like,
Pitt Girl-
I'll just play 6 now. 6
Pitt
is
Girl, I got a game for you then, but we're gonna have to take you
Yeah.
back in time. You
Okay.
gotta play Alpha Centauri.
yeah.
Yes.
Listeners, if you don't know, Alpha Centauri is based on the Civ 2 engine. And it
Mhm.
is what happens after the space victory. Basically, you go to a different planet, and it's Civ 2 with a plot and factions that are absolutely insane. My favorite part is when you unlock recycling tanks for your civilization, and the recycling tanks are recycling the old people.
Yeah.
The best part of Alpha Centauri was if you wanted to play with your buddies, you had to send them your save file, basically.
Oh yes, you had to do it like chess.
So for
like chess nail.
I don't know how long my husband and his friends played Alpha Centauri, but for literally years, every single day, one of them would email the others their save files, and they would just continue to play the game. Literal years.
People play diplomacy like that, and I can't fathom
Yeah.
playing diplomacy over the course of like 2 years like that.
Diplomacy is fun. I will say I have not played the original Alpha Centauri. I did play Beyond Earth. I didn't
Okay.
love it.
Okay, it's not Beyond Earth, I promise.
No.
I mean,
no.
I've heard of people playing chess by like mailing each other moves. So
Yep.
What
anything's
would be even,
possible if you're dedicated.
how about play by mail Monopoly?
I mean, okay, but why?
Yeah.
That's just getting madder every time you check the mail.
Monopoly takes long enough as it is. We
My
don't need
dearest
to
Pitt
involve a
Girl,
mailbox.
I rolled a 4 and a 4. I will be going to jail.
I am out
Best
of jail.
wishes.
I have not passed go. I have not collected $200. Best wishes.
What would be the funniest game to play by mail? I'm imagining like Go Fish, where you like mail a card.
Well, no, you have to
It's
ask.
war.
No, Go Fish. You have to ask. It's like,
Yes.
do you
Yeah.
have any
That's
fours?
so many-
And you
that's
mail,
so
do you
many-
have any fours?
Yeah, and then they
And then
mail you back the
gotta mail you back.
fours.
No, or here they send you the fours.
Or a picture of the fours like printed out on a little 5x7.
No, I'm saying we can't do anything that you couldn't do like in 1900.
Okay.
Oh, see, I was thinking about like paintball by mail, and you just like rig up a bunch of like.
Oh no.
Like you,
That's
like,
just
like
a
a
crime.
mine.
You just described a crime.
like one of those packs they have in like bank robbery sacks where it,
Right, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Or like the glitter bombs where like you open it
very
and glitter
mild-
just goes everywhere.
Well, right. Like the glitter bomb cards are not illegal, so why can't I do a very small paint explosion? It's fine.
imagine like poker just mailing like actual physical chips.
Oh god, that'd be so awful.
Blackjack.
Yeah,
What would be
mail
worse,
roulette.
mailing
I don't know.
physical poker
Yeah, I was-
chips or
Yeah.
like strip poker and like just mailing clothing?
I have mailed you a
Oh
sock.
my god.
Okay, but that's like titillatingly fun. If I got like a sock
Right.
and I knew we were playing strip, that's like okay, I'm enjoying this. That's fine. Chips less so. What? Don't judge me.
No, I'm just like
My desires, they are unconventional.
I do like mail strip poker as like Victorian sexting.
I just
Right, exactly.
I just
yeah.
the mailman's like, oh god, he's playing strip poker again.
You know the Victorians absolutely were sexting via mail, which
Oh.
is just
Oh, I know. I know.
We've seen Warren Harding's letters. Like, we know how this goes.
Warren G. Harding referenced.
It's
Teapot Dome
fucked up.
scandal.
My brain's like Victorian. That can't like America wasn't around during the Victorian time. That's crazy. Victorian was like that hundreds of years. No, I have the same problem.
No.
I have the same problem also whenever I did music history, that like having to remind myself that when Beethoven was active or Mozart was active, like there was, Bach only died in 1750. There was not like there was proto-America in 1750. That fucks my
Mhm.
head up because it's like Bach. Bach plays big giant music on this kinds of things, and
Yeah,
it was all happening at the same time.
if you believe it or not, Antonin Dvorak was around at the same time as the United States.
I hate you. That was a New World Symphony joke, folks. Symphony for
This
a
is
New
the
World.
content
That's
you
not
come
in
to
mind.
us for.
That's not. I went and saw it on Friday night.
So whenever you say Dvorak or something like that, I also have to make sure you're not talking about the typing system. Is that how you pronounce it? Dvorak? Is that Dvorak?
Dvorak. Yeah.
Okay. I had a friend of mine who
Listener,
learned that.
if you didn't know, if you did somehow, listener, if you did not already know that we are gigantic fucking nerds, now you know.
Is that a super nerdy thing?
We're
Come on.
talking about classical music, video games, and keyboard setups.
Warren
Yes.
G. Harding? Yeah, dude.
Oh, dude,
Like,
you
I mean, every
I will
podcast is
adjust
someone's
my
first,
glasses
so
for
welcome,
emphasis
listener.
now.
Well, 4 of us can adjust our glasses, but of course, Commish 2020 over here.
I mean, I'm getting older, man. It's not gonna last forever, so
That's right. We'll have practice.
I will.
And Arthur, do you have All-Star Game news for us as well? NBA All-Star Game news?
I mean, just looking at the clock, I feel like we can push this
If you could
to
do
the
it,
Tuesday
if you could do it
show.
in 10 minutes.
Because I haven't really had time to look at any of the NBA All-Star stuff from like tonight, from Sunday night, because that shit got fucking buried, right? Like the Saturday night stuff went up against the hockey thing. And
Yeah.
then tonight it went up against the Daytona 500 and the SNL thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
That's fair.
So
So-
wanted
I
to
will.
see-
I will take. Can I take a second? Can I take 1 second to talk about the hockey thing?
Yeah,
The
I
three
was trying to
fights in
get
8 seconds.
I was trying to get our Canadian correspondent Joey on, but he is under the weather, and he sent me a voice message that
Oh,
was
wonderful.
no, like he could
No.
not speak. It was very bad.
Oh.
So yeah,
Oh.
Get well
so
soon,
he
Joey.
would have
We love you.
get well soon, Joey.
I
Yeah,
believe Joe.
feel better, Joey.
I heard the voice message, and I really worked hard to tell what it was. I believe Joey said USA, 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 Canada sucks, but it was pretty scratchy. I can't tell for sure.
So anyway, I'm a very casual hockey fan, but I will do my best to explain this, listeners. So instead of doing the NHL All-Star game, the NHL has decided to do what it's calling the Four Nations Face-Off. So they have divided NHL players into their countries of origin, and we have Sweden, Finland, the US, and Canada all duking it out in either Montreal or Boston to figure out which team of NHL players from these various countries is better. This has been fun. It's good. I'm watching it. And like I said, I'm a very casual hockey fan. The Pens are not very good. I am not at the Blackhawks. It's the team that I originally was watching are not very good. And so like, I am not actively watching hockey, but I am watching this. And listener, you know why I am watching this? Both because the concept is cool, mostly because the concept is cool, but also because US Canada was last night. And that's always fun. Like, I always enjoy US Canada and hockey because it's like the one opportunity where it feels spiritually okay to be like, you know what? Actually, fuck Canada, right?
Where you can chant USA, USA and not feel like a jingoistic weirdo.
Yeah, right. This is normally a great opportunity for that. Given other circumstances outside of the hockey arena, it feels a little bit less fun to be like, fuck Canada right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I
So-
love you. You're cool.
Yeah, Canada, we love you. We're
You're always
sorry.
cool, Canada. We love you so much.
Yeah, we do.
Yes. On that note, the
But your hockey
US-Canada
team-
game.
No.
Yeah. The US Canada game last night was in Montreal. And I'm pretty sure ESPN turned the crowd mic down while the Canadian
the
Mountie
first
was
night
singing
they
the
did
national
not
anthem.
do that. And then the last two nights they had a bad mix on the first night for the anthems. And then they super mic'd up the anthem singer for the other night and last night, especially last night. Like, yeah, like no crowd mics on that. And yet you could still hear what was going on. And personally, I will say, good for you, Canadians. Critical support.
Yes, critical support. Additionally, and amusingly, there were 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of this game.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped the puck and the gloves came off.
Yeah.
And then they dropped the puck and the gloves came off again.
And again.
And then they did it again.
Yeah.
They were telling each other they're gonna squabble up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, they're like, it's fucking on, brother. Like, we're gonna go.
These guys always play against each other too. Like, not just NHL wise. Like
Oh yeah.
like World Juniors, like under 17s, 20s, 20. I mean, they play each other all the time, so it's not necessarily the currently charged environment that they're playing in. But like, this is something new. This is country pride. This is, it feels like there's something on the line, even though it's kind of like a new thing. Which is good, and it's only 4 nations. It's kind of like the 6 Nations rugby, which is, it's fun and it's good TV. It's good hockey. It's there's, everybody's giving it its all.
Yeah, it's much more interesting than the normal NHL hockey, like the All-Star game, except for that year that they voted that one guy in. And like, it's a good time. I think the NHL should do this every year, except when there's a Winter Olympics.
It's so fun.
It's cool.
Yeah. The best part for me, besides being able to chant USA without feeling weird, is after the US scores a goal, we get the solo from Freebird.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which just,
that's nice.
Nothing makes me feel more patriotic. Like, my favorite TikTok is still the NASCAR, the big car passing.
Oh yeah, Garage 56.
Yes.
Yeah, Garage 56. Passing that, but set to Freebird.
Yes. in the
You
24
put
hours
something
of
to
Le Mans,
Freebird,
right?
and I'm just gonna feel so patriotic.
I mean,
Yep.
the last thing I put to Freebird was the airboat spinning on the snow.
Which
So
also made me feel so
that's what
I love
that's
this
what
country.
that's what came into my head. As soon as I hear Freebird, I'm like, yeah, it's the airboat on the snow again. Yeah, hell yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, the final for the Four Nations is on Thursday, on either ESPN or ABC, and I recommend you check it out if you haven't. So
Very
Perfect.
pro
Accidental Whiskey
Whiskeweezy. All right.
Whiskey
So
Easy.
All
final
right, so
thing.
I said real quick. I don't know because I showed up late. Maybe y'all mentioned this. I'm gonna move the NBA All Star talk to Tuesday, but I got to shout out Green Bay.
Oh yeah, the Phoenix. We did not mention the
They
Phoenix.
won a game.
They won a game. They
Woo!
beat Wright State.
Hell yeah.
So that there was things definitely went wrong for Wright State. And Green Bay won their third game. Won their third game of the year.
First game of this year.
That's right. Shout
Oh
out
yeah.
Doug Gottlieb. He's finally done it. He's gotten his team to
silencing
3
the
wins.
haters by winning one game.
Yeah.
You know what I think did it was going to do Media Row at the Super Bowl.
That's it.
I think that's what did it.
Eventually did it.
Okay, Mitch, you want to do your conductor?
Yeah, I got it. It's
Okay.
This is a really short one. So we're going back to the Conductor Series, which somebody I think mentioned in the podcast is like, if you don't do another Conductor Series, I'm gonna riot. So you got another Conductor Series. Here you go. I have more planned for sure, but this is a relatively short one. So this one is from 1941, and this was kind of like the final throes of traveling by train for college football. So in 1941, which this was before World War II and Pearl Harbor, air travel started to get a little bit more prevalent. And then after World War II, from all the trained pilots, all the planes and everything like that, air travel became a lot more common for larger road trips. So this is kind of like the last gasp of train travel in college football. It is the 1941 Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Golden Gophers, the first game of the year, which was on September 27th. I'm just going to say September 27th. So the first game of the year, September 27th. That's weird as hell, right? That's like a month later than what we're used to now. The Golden Gophers were going to play at the Washington Huskies. So we had a lot of Washington Huskies talk on this podcast. So it just...
I have to say, I feel like they're always headed to Washington.
We're always headed to Washington.
Quick question: Was that a conference game then?
Back then, no.
Okay, because it is now.
It
You
is
asshole!
now.
I was drinking something.
It is now. Back then, it is not. So this thing was planned in advance. And now this Conductor Series, which I have it linked in the podcast notes, I'm gonna give a shout out to Football Archeology on this one. Wrote a Substack on it because I was bugging him in the DMs like, hey man, do you have a lot of good like train trips or anything like that? And on his free Substack, subscribe to it. It's good. He gives like a free today's tidbit. One of these
They're great. His shit's
tidbits,
amazing.
yeah, he has a paid tier too, and you can subscribe to that if you want to. But the today's tidbit, it's just like little tidbit articles and stuff like this. But this one is kind of dedicated to me bugging him about train trips. So I'm gonna give a shout out on that. Subscribe to it; it's awesome. There was a brochure for this trip. They were selling the Minnesota fans, hey, get on the train, go to see Seattle. And it says, let's go Minnesota versus Washington, 1 ticket round trip. And it says, follow the team, low fares. You go there via the Milwaukee Road and you return via the Great Northern Railroad. And so the funny thing about this, in the brochure, it's like, see the Evergreen Playground. And then there's pictures of like the Puget Sound Navy Yard at Bremerton. It says, on this trip to the Minnesota-Washington game, plan to see something of the Pacific Northwest. Your ticket will permit you to delay your return if you wish. In and around Seattle, some of the sightseeing musts are beautiful Lake Washington and its floating bridge, 1.5 miles long, and the only bridge of its kind. the famous Seattle waterfront with its vast ocean shipping, the residential districts located on the many hills overlooking the city. And so they're also selling like a few hours from Seattle is magnificent snow-topped Mount Rainier, year-round alpine playground. It's one of America's most popular national parks and a place where you can enjoy both summer and winter sports with skiing 8 months of the year. So they're selling this like a travel brochure. Like,
I love
hey,
it.
travel with your team. This feels like very nostalgic, heavy, like just incredible. Take a train trip with your Golden Gophers. Go for
You
it.
can
I
tell
like
this is towards the end of the train era because they're trying to nostalgize it at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it kind of has the same energy as like, oh, your team is playing in Ireland, like let's go on the official Ireland tour of the whatever team you support. Like it's sort of like that too, and I kind of like it.
yeah. So it's like, hey man, go to Ireland, watch Farmageddon. Farmageddon. I'm sorry, say that right. Farmageddon. We got to say that correct. But then, yeah, travel with your team. It's the opening game of the season. Go to Seattle from Minneapolis. Let's just do this. Go on the rails, ride the rails with the Golden Gophers. There's the brochure. It's trying to sell you on the game. Perhaps this is the year Washington says yes, Minnesota says no. They both can't be right, but one thing the spectator can be sure of is a bang up, rip snorting battle when the
Whoa.
when the Golden Gophers and Washington Huskies tangle in Seattle on September 27th. I love the writing style here. Just captures me in this brochure.
It's very like Voice of the Future. Like over on the Minnesota campus, they're talking of another national championship. Like it's written in that tone, and I love it so much.
Can I say that my favorite thing is these very clearly black and white pictures, and then trying to colorize them just for the program.
Yes,
and
for
just
the brochure.
overlaying a color.
They are just
I
overlaying.
have a marker.
I have a marker.
I will use my marker.
Sorry.
I love it. I love it. I love shit like that. It's so creative.
So this brochure is being sold to the Minnesota fans. So the last paragraph is really one that's trying to hook you and sell you to this trip. Out at Washington, they're pretty cocky. They didn't do so bad last year, and they say that they're going to do a lot better this fall. Like Minnesota, they have a number of veterans and a batch of reserves, of whom a lot is expected. They say Minnesota has been pretty lucky in the past, but this year things will be different. On the one side will be the national champs, headed for a repeat season. On the other side, a team that is a distinct threat for the Pacific Coast Championship. In any event, it's the last time Minnesota and Washington will meet for some years. Fast forward to the day they're in the conference with each other.
And now it's a conference game.
I like the last line. The last line of this just says, "It's going to be a real football game." Like,
I certainly hope so.
As opposed
one of the football
to
games of all time.
One of the football games of all time, technically. So they have the map of the route. So when you leave St. Paul, Minneapolis, you're going to take the northern direction, and on the Milwaukee Road, essentially. So you would go from St. Paul, Minneapolis to Fargo, Minot, or is it Minot?
I'm gonna guess it's Minot.
Okay.
It's Minot.
Okay, Minot. Okay. Then Glasgow, I think it's Hare, Glacier Park. Nope, not Hare.
Nope.
I can't even see it.
Nope.
What is it? Higher?
Havre. How would you say that?
Oh, okay. This is like Brett Favre. Harv.
Nope.
No.
Havre.
Nope. This is a surprise. Like announce that
oh
place.
God.
This was number one on my like. If I ever did this for Montana, it's Havre.
Havre.
Havre. Okay.
Havre.
I was about to guess Harvey, so like we're getting
Nope.
there.
Nope. All right. Get some pronunciation game.
Just
of
pretend
Montana.
everywhere is Pennsylvania. You'll get like 75% of the way there.
Then it's Glacier Park, Spokane, and Seattle. That's the way there. It was a 48-hour trip in either direction, leaving Wednesday morning for Friday morning arrival in Seattle while heading back the night of the game and getting home on Monday night. The train cars all had the desired appointments, ranging from deluxe coaches to sleeping and dining cars, as well as club and lounge cars and the observation car to enjoy while traversing the Rockies. So if you look at the trains itself, if you want to make it a little bit bigger, I don't know if you can. Deluxe coaches permit the football fan to take advantage of the lowest rate of rail fare, well under 2 cents a mile. The individual chairs have reclining backs, adjustable
Ooh.
to the position that make for real comfort both day and night. There are roomy lounges for men and for women, and many other conveniences that add to travel pleasures.
Lady
Then
trains.
the lady trains.
Ooh.
The club observation lounge. This is your club on wheels. There are deep, comfortable chairs.
Nope. Not like that. Not like that.
I'm gonna read in Corvallis' love voice. There are deep, comfortable chairs, cozy corners for get-togethers, and
Nope.
complete facilities that include current magazines and newspapers, market reports, news bulletins, and a radio. Oh yeah, with Corvallis love. The
Oh
well
shit.
equipped.
A radio.
That's right. The well equipped buffet.
Magazines and radio. Oh shit.
The well
All
equipped
your modern
buffet.
conveniences are here.
The well equipped buffet is under the charge of an expert mixologist. Oh yeah.
Can you
Hell
just say
yeah.
real quick before we move on? Can you just say go back to the club, but in the Corvallis love voice, please?
Wait, you want me to go back to the club? Like,
No,
I mean, like,
the bit from Megalopolis,
Megalopolis.
where
okay.
he says, "So go back to the club." But I really want to hear that in the Corvallis love voice real quick.
So go back to the club.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. This is your club on wheels with Corvallis love.
I know that this is in the 40s, but I'm just picturing like disco ball and somehow like Euro trance, like uns music.
I just finished listening to the WTYP on the Marlboro train, so that's all I can think of.
Pull out that standard Pullman sleeping car. Here is the ultimate in travel luxury. Every possible facility has been incorporated with these standard Pullman sleeping cars. I'm just imagining Wazoo designing sleeping cars. This has got to be...
This is my sleeping car. It has 50 gallons of Fireball in it.
God, I wish, dude. I've taken this trip, like not all the way to Minneapolis, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've taken this trip up to Whitefish, and I wish we had like just booze, just right there, ready to go.
It's just like a booze cruise, but it's like a booze train.
That'd be fun.
Like a 48-hour
it's my
booze train.
dream. Are you kidding? Like I love drinking on trains. It's half the reason I love being in Japan and Korea and China, for that matter.
You can drink on Amtrak, for the record.
Yeah, you can. I just I've never done it because
So I'm gonna give this part to travel archaeology, football archaeology. They wrote this. So it says the trip cost less than 2 cents a mile, and Seattle hotel rooms were available for $150 a night and up. So one might have expected a large contingent, but it turns out that gophers seldom travel in packs. In fact, the English language lacks a word like a pack or herd to describe a group of gophers. So with the game scheduled for Saturday, September 27, 1941, team members and 100 fans gathered at the train station that Wednesday morning for their trip west. Missing from that group was Dick Cullum, the beat writer for the Minneapolis Times. Flying to games was relatively new back then. The Green Bay Packers were the first NFL team to fly to a game in 1940.
Hell yeah, go back.
Cullum planned to fly to Seattle, report on the game, then double back to catch the Joe Louis fight in New York on Monday night. Basically, he says pulling a Kirk Herbstreit 28 years before Kirk was born. I can't imagine what this is. So, football archaeology.
Oh my god, the cartoon.
Yes, that's.
This is so good.
It's nuts. Football archaeology goes on to continue. It's likely that everyone enjoyed their trips back. The train stopped on the way back in Miles City, Montana, to give the Gopher team an opportunity to stretch their legs, run through plays, and enjoy a lunch. Bierman announced his starting lineup for the game at the luncheon, opting for his defensive specialist, Before a two-platoon football came along, coaches assessed each opponent and chose to start their best offensive players, their best defensive players, or a combination of the two. Bierman went with his best defensive lineup for Washington, assuming his team could score enough to win by limiting the Huskies' offense. So the game attracted a record-setting 43,000 fans, including
many people.
including the crew of the HMS Warspite, a British battleship torpedoed off of Crete that was under repair at the Bremerton Navy Yard in Seattle, Washington.
How the
This
fuck did they end
rules.
up in Seattle after they got torpedoed in the Mediterranean?
Look, okay, it happens.
This could be another thing. Another 7,000 Yankee sailors and soldiers joined the throng that saw a defensive battle. Minnesota held Washington to 5 first downs in only 85 yards of offense, while Minnesota's All-American halfback Bruce Smith scored both Gopher touchdowns in their 14-6 win. The game proved to be a start of another national championship season for the Minnesota Gophers, as they went undefeated again, 8-0, and Bruce Smith won the Heisman Trophy. The long train ride to and from Seattle marked the end of an era as commercial aviation was spurred on by technological advances in aviation, and the large number of trained pilots resulted from World War II. Post-war Gopher fans were more likely to fly to distant games than take the train. Plus, they've had a less than reason to travel, as the team has not sustained success since Bierman's first tour ended. Of course, he set a high bar in his first go-round, enjoying a decade and more of coaching success that stands with the best in college football history. I found the yearbook clipping for this.
Always good.
And the yearbook clipping, it just like shows, Bruce Smith and Wilding Anderson. There was somebody called Fricky Holmstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Fricky.
Fricky Holmstrom. A 38-yard pass from Bruce Smith to Herb Hines set up the first score. Ernie Steele skirting left, end for a touchdown to climax the push. The Huskies missed the try for extra point, leaving the count 6-7. But not until a late game, the victory was assured as Captain Smith once again battled his way to a touchdown. Between them, Smith and fullback Bill Daly accounted for 189 yards of the Gophers' 213 total yards. So this was basically like an end of an era in train travel, and it kind of really set up Minnesota's like last national championship, except like the 1961 that they had when they finished 8-2, which is kind of, they are the AP poll champion there and coaches poll champion.
So if Minnesota is going to come back, we need trains again. Is what you're saying.
So Minnesota, you need to sell some train trips to your fan. Washington is in your conference. You may need to do this again.
I can't imagine taking Amtrak. As much as I would love to see it, the thought of taking Amtrak from Minneapolis to Seattle.
It is genuinely not bad. Like, from Seattle to Glacier is like overnight. Like, your first night, you go from Seattle up to Whitefish. You get in really early in the morning. If you keep going all the way, you see the sunrise in Glacier, in West Glacier. It's gorgeous. Ooh. You should see it. And then it's like another day and a half after that. It's really not bad. I recommend it. Just don't have your train going back to Seattle have a problem where a switch doesn't get flipped in rural North Dakota in the middle of winter. Oh. And you get stuck in Whitefish Station for 11 hours. And then they try to get you off the train in Spokane and put you all on buses.
Oh,
disaster!
No. Disaster. What a bad idea.
It was a very bad idea.
Oh my God.
But you have a 1-year-old and you go, no, ma'am, I'm going to rent a car.
Yeah.
Okay, folks.
Yeah, no, you can take the Empire Builder. You can do this now.
Yeah, the Empire Builder is there.
You should, if you can take a train to a game, A, safer, B, just so much more fun. Like, take Amtrak.
I mean, it feels like I said, Podcat, did the Sunset Limited from like Baton Rouge to LA to watch LSU play at UCLA. I feel like this is something that we were trying to get CFB Campus Court Tour to do this for the opening game for Kansas.
Last year, I took Amtrak to Pitt Syracuse at Yankee Stadium. That was a day trip. It wasn't like an overnight train, but I've
Still,
I've
that
done
counts.
Amtrak to a college football game before.
That's right. Amtrak, sponsor us, please. Or again.
Yes, please, God.
Yeah.
We love
We
trains.
love
So Commish, that
Yeah.
northern path with the Milwaukee Road path is
Yes.
the Empire Builder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's now
Yep.
the Empire
You
Builder.
can't go it does not go further south than Whitefish anymore.
Nope.
Okay.
It's cool. But
Okay,
that was
folks.
another episode of the Conductor Series.
So we got for tonight.
Choo-choo.
Choo
Choo
choo.
choo.
We will see you guys on the other side. Have a good one.